morning, everyone. My name is Njoya. I'm the CEO of Ceren USA. It's my greatest pleasure to welcome all of you here this morning at the second Ceren Business Workshop. Your presence here means a lot to us. I know this is a weekend of Easter weekend, very busy weekend, but you found time to come here. So thank you for that. We had our first workshop on the January 25th. It set a strong foundation. We received overwhelmingly positive feedback from our participants. Today what we want to do, we want to build on that momentum with fresh perspectives, practical tools that we believe will help you, to approach the world of business even more confidently, even more audaciously. Whether you're just getting started, or you're scaling your business, or you're just looking for new opportunities, this workshop is for you. So we've invited seasoned professionals in their respective fields to come and walk us through key important topics like immigration, business funding, and tax codes. So I encourage each and every one of you to take advantage of the importance of the wealth of information that will be shared here today. Ask questions, make meaningful contacts, meaningful connections, and let's make this workshop another resounding success. Before we move to introduce the speakers of the day, I want to welcome Mr. Frank, who will serve us today as the moderator. Thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have special guests. So he's back by popular demand. He was, our next speaker need little introduction because I did a good introduction last time. So his name is Charles Njoya. He's a founder of CHN Advisors. He's a tax strategist who's helping doctors, lawyers, and business owners legally cut their tax by up to 70%. And he's doing it with strategies most CPA never talked about. He's originally from Cameroon and now based in Houston. Charles has mastered how to turn the US tax code into a powerful wealth building blueprint. His last session sparked so much interest that he had to bring him back. Please get ready for a game-changing insight that had everyone talking last time. Welcome, Mr. Njoya. Charles.
All right, Mr. Njoya.
Yes, thank you so much. I thought that was a little bit over the top, but I'm excited to be here. I'm really excited to be here. And every time I come here, I just get this thing about what Ceren is doing. Ceren is a force to be reckoned with. I'm excited the way they organize their events, and I can't wait to be at these events to talk about things, for us to be able to debate, talk about certain things that affect all of us in this country. We came here with a dream. All of us here have a dream. And that dream is to leave a legacy. How do we leave that legacy is what we're talking about. We're talking about what do we need to do. There are so many things. I mean, this country is a country of law. If you don't know how the country operates, you're going to live under the radar until you expire. That is America. So information is everything. That's why when we have people like Mr. Pacha here, we have all these people who come from the SBA to tell us all these things. This is critical. When we have events like this, I expect to see this hall completely full. If we had a party here, everybody would be here. Everybody would be here. Today we have to talk about things that change your destiny. People are busy. So today we're going to talk about how to structure your own estate. Understanding how the system works. It is critical to understand how the system works. And if you understood it, we will build our legacy, because there's no, I tell people all the time that there is no better country in the world than the United States to live in. There is no. I'm still to get someone.
Even today?
Sorry?
Even nowadays?
Yes. There's no. The structure of America is to help you build wealth. America's wealth is dependent on us. It's not dependent on the government. The government makes the rules. We have to play the game. And if you play the game, guess what? America expects you to be wealthy. Everybody to be wealthy. If you're not wealthy, they are going to sanction you for not being wealthy. I can repeat that. America expects you to be wealthy. If you're not wealthy, you get sanctioned for not being wealthy. And the question is, what is wealth? The problem is understanding the meaning of wealth. What is wealth? Most people believe that income is wealth. Income is not wealth. You could make $1 million every month for the next 20 years. And the day you stop making it, that's why we die early. Because we make a lot of income. Africans are the hardest working set of people in America. Africans go to the best schools in America. But Africans are not among the wealthy. Maybe a few. Why? Because we don't understand how the system works. We don't. We earn income and then we live like we're already there. That's our problem. Income, the penalty for income is taxes. There's no wealth tax until you make $15 million in assets. That's when you pay wealth tax. But if you make money in income, and especially the income that is related to effort. Effort is called ordinary activity. It's called operating activity. Operating activity pays the highest amount of taxes. Yes.
Let me throw a little bit of flavor.
I would prefer.
Yeah, before you finish, please keep in mind I came here to also live here like Donald Trump, who did not pay taxes for 15 years. So I hope by the time, just take it. By the time you're done, you show me how I can do that and get away with it.
Yes. I'm going to talk for I'm going to take. This is a long presentation, but I'm going to talk about one page of that presentation. And we're done. And then we'll answer your question. Yes. So what I was saying is that there are 3 stages to building wealth. 3. And most of us, we don't even get to stage 1. We're already done. The first stage to building wealth is something that Africans know how to do. They know. We come here, we work hard, we go to the best schools. If you throw a stone in a garden, it falls on an attorney, it falls on a CPA, it falls on someone who is on Wall Street, it falls on everybody. Africans have the best. They go to the best schools. And they work very hard. They earn income. If you go to Silicon Valley, you have all these guys who are making millions and millions of dollars every day, every month. So the first stage is income generation. If you're not generating income, you cannot build wealth. You have to generate income. And then when you generate income, the next stage, now the question is, what is income? Because most people, they don't even know when we start talking about real income, where does it start? How can I get there? Because most of us, I tell people all the time when they come to me and say, Charles, I want to do this. I look at your income and I say, you're not generating income yet. You need to generate that income that allows you to get to the next stage. And we all have the tools. FBA is one of the tools. He is one of the tools. We are all here tools to make it happen. So the first step to building wealth is income generation. When you're making anything less than 200,000, you're not yet. Let me tell you why. So basically, the reason you're not yet making income is because you get to that place where the tools to really get into that next stage, which is asset accumulation, is limited to you. The tools are limited to you. And we have all the tools to make money. There's no country that supports business development like the United States. There's no on planet Earth. The problem is we get excited too early. We get excited too early, and then we start living as if we were already off. And then we get stuck. Your goals have to be clear. In this country, it's very easy to make money. Very easy. It is easy. I'm telling us in this hall that if we make a decision, it has to be intentional. If you don't make it intentional, you will not get there. And the day you make it intentional, you start thinking about what are the tools for me to get there. There are every tool in this country for you to get there. There's everything. So number one is income generation. Number two is asset accumulation. Most of us, when we get to that stage where we are earning 100,000, our lifestyle is 200,000. Yes. And then that lifestyle is based on liabilities, not assets. I had a client come to me 2 days ago. She's a dermatologist. She lives in California. She started her job and she went so high. She got to a place where within 2 years, she's making 1.1 million. As a dermatologist in the W2 in California. That's okay. The problem she told me, her thing was, she wants to buy a $6 million home. I asked her, well, how much do you, tell me how much is your monthly expenditure? She says, I spend about $50,000 a month. I said, what are you doing with it? You just started 2 years ago, and now you want to buy a $6 million home as your home. And she showed me her budget. It shows that she's already negative on that $1 million. So asset accumulation is the most critical part of building wealth. Most of us, we acquire things. You know what they say? They say that the middle class, what the middle class does is that they want to build credit so that they can buy those things that they cannot buy. That's what the middle class does. Everybody wants to have the good credit so that he can buy those things that he cannot afford now and be expensive. It's okay to do that if you're buying income generating assets. When you take that and you buy a home for 2 million, guess what? A home is one of those things that breaks you down. Completely breaks you because you tie yourself for 30 years with a loan that maybe you're struggling. That's one of those things. If you took that same money, bought that same home, and put it as an asset, and started renting it out, that is called an asset. Your home is not an asset, it's a liability. It is. Cars, every don't pay for it, then don't touch it. Don't touch it. Income generation, asset accumulation is where most of us fail. You know why? Because we don't contact the right people to help us acquire assets instead of acquiring assets. Somebody somewhere, some brother, some uncle, some sister told you that the most important thing to do after you start making money is to buy your home. It's great to buy a home. It's even more important to buy an asset, that an income generating asset. Our problem is buying that home. You don't buy the home that you can afford. You're looking, many people come to us as CPAs. Charles, I'm making money. I want to buy my home, but they say I don't qualify. Can you help me so that I qualify? You don't qualify means that you don't qualify. You cannot buy it. You cannot buy it. You say you don't qualify. If you don't qualify, what do you want? I want you to fix my tax return. What happened to the tax return in the first place? You went somewhere and reduced all the money you're making so that you don't pay tax. Now you want to buy something, you're in trouble. So asset accumulation is number 2. And then when you start accumulating assets, if you accumulate assets the right way, if you were making $100,000 and then you see Miss Sophia May, and then she acquires you an asset for which is within that realm of that $100,000 that you can afford, and then that asset is something that is out there as an investment property, you just created another source of income. And that property that you just bought with other people's money, because you buy it with other people's money, that asset is income generating. But the big thing is that now we can structure you to make that asset make you never pay taxes. Basically. But your home cannot do that. When you start making the bills of America are paid by the middle class. So if you're here, you're called middle class, you're doomed. Get out of it. Run away. Run away. Middle class is a term for slave. It means slave. Because the people who are below, they are on benefits. And I tell people, a lot of us, when we come here, we're thinking about benefits all the time. You're doomed to be there. Get away from benefits. It's a disaster. Don't ever think benefits. You're doomed. And I tell you, that's important. Because most of us are always taking benefits. So the people down there are benefits. The middle class are paying all the taxes, and then the wealthy people are paying zero. That's America. So the third stage, when you've acquired assets, now, then you have to protect those assets. Those are the 3 stages of building wealth. And what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to show you something. I mean, we can talk about this, but this is not where I want to go. Just keep going. I don't want to talk about this. Slow down. Sorry about this. If we have time, we'll talk about this. This is a huge presentation. It teaches, but we don't have time to do it. So we'll just go to one of them and talk about. What slides are you? I don't know what page. The one that I have this structure. Sorry, guys. Is it making sense? Are we together?
Yes. Always.
These are things that will hit you a little bit out of comfort zone. But if you're in comfort zone, you're missing it. You have to be out of your comfort zone. Anything that's called comfort zone doesn't help. I like to sleep. Sleep doesn't help. I like to eat all those great food. That's why my belly is big. Yeah, all those things that are so nice that are called comfort zone. The doctor will tell you that's not good for you. And the finance guy will tell you, hey, you need to get out of sleep. We are already working on the thoughts, but we're not really smart. That's our problem. Now, let's talk about this slide. Go back, just start. Go back. No, you want to go there. This slide. So this slide is going to be the most important slide for me. I just want to run it through to you. Answer the questions. Yes. So basically, this is why Donald Trump doesn't pay taxes. This is why. So it starts with the blue screen. Yes. Just move on. There are things that most of you will tell me, I know. Why are you here? Why are you where you are? The problem is not no. The problem is to execute it, is to implement it, is to do it. Most of us, we know so many things, but we don't know. We need to implement. And this is important. I say these things the way I say them, but it's critical. So, the foundation of your estate from a legal standpoint in America is a trust. It's called a revocable. It's a revocable living trust. He knows it all. So what is a trust? A trust is a vehicle that allows you to make money. It allows you to take the money, multiply the money, and transfer the money to your next generation in the most tax efficient manner. That's my definition of a trust. And that's what it does. It's the operational definition of a trust. So the question is, we have two types of trust. You correct me if I'm wrong. You have what you call the revocable trust, and you have what you call the irrevocable trust. The foundational trust that we all need for wealth is called a revocable living trust. This revocable living trust will hold your assets. It will give you privacy. It will allow you to basically avoid something called probate. It is flexible. That is where it will own everything you own because it gives it privacy and reduces the likelihood of a lawsuit. That's what the wealthy do with the trust. Many people, when we hear trust in our communities, we say, but that's for the rich people. And that's why they want it. This is the best kept secret of the wealthy. It doesn't go through probate. For those of us who know what probate is, it doesn't go through probate. It hides your assets. It is flexible. It holds all the assets you have. The foundation of your estate, from a wealth building perspective, is your tax return. Listen, it's this thing. Your 1040. Your personal income tax return. Most of us think that the tax return is there to make us pay taxes. The tax return is a wealth building tool. When you want to buy that first asset, that first house, that first car, what is the first thing they ask you for? They ask you for 2 years of your tax return. The question is, what are they looking for? Everything they're looking for should be what you should be giving them. That's why you talk about planning. You plan to get this, you plan to get this. And when you get here, it's not only about making taxes and trying to do all the things so that I don't pay taxes. But the same way you don't pay taxes is the same way you not get enough. Yes, you will get access to the benefits. But what that did for you, those benefits of 2,000, 3,000, 1,000, it makes you broke forever. Completely broke. Wealthy people want to show that their tax return is big. They have a lot of money. And that's what we too should do. And when you do this, what it does is that it gives you access to other people's money. Because there are two things that feel wealthy in America that the wealthy do. Two things. Number one, they take care of their tax return to make sure that it is showing that they are making money. Because it gives you ability to pay. The only thing that the underwriter who is underwriting you for that commercial property is looking at is your ability to pay. And then when you have ability to pay, the government of the United States helps you access capital. That's why capitalism, America is the capital of capital. You can sit in this hall today, just talk to your banker, 2 minutes, you have $500,000 in your bank account. only in America to do that. Go to Cameroon and ask for $5,000. 500 CFA, 500 or maybe 100,000 CFA. Or go to anywhere in Africa. In America, if you're okay, if you're doing your things right, you can sit in your home. Within 5 minutes, you have any money you want in your bank. Sorry? I'm listening. About stress? What stress? Yeah, the problem is that don't confine yourself in the problem. Every problem is a solution. It's an opportunity for a solution. That's why I tell you, there are things, there's something called leverage. We don't leverage, that's why we have stress. We don't leverage. I know that this guy is a lawyer, I want to do it myself. I spent 2 days trying to do what we do myself. That's stress. That is stress. We don't know how to leverage. When you start stressing, because you're doing something you don't have strategic advantage to be able to do it. Give it to the person who knows how to do it. That's why the wealthy are wealthy. Our problem is that costs. We never look at value, we look at costs. Somebody tells you about something, the first thing that comes to mind, how much it costs. Cost means that you're paying. Finish. Because you cannot afford value. Value has a price. Everything of value has a price. And if you cannot accept value, then you won't get value. You have stress. That's not important. So this shows your ability to pay. And your ability to pay gives you access to the capital market. America has the largest capital market. Now, even when under Trump or no Trump, this is it. You just need to be okay with things you go to. You don't need to go to the bank, the money goes to your bank. That's America. And if it's not happening for you, fix that problem. It takes 2 people to fix that problem for you. But when you're generating income, that's why they say, if you're not generating income, you cannot play the game of life. You cannot play the game. So now, what do you do from here? This is the foundation from a legal standpoint. This is the foundation from your wealth building standpoint. Now, you want to divide your estate into 2. On this side, it's called assets. What is asset? Asset is anything that gives you money when you're single. It's an asset. Anything that gives you money when you're sick. Anything that gives you money when you're retired. It's called an asset. An asset, you see the money is there. It's a passive activity. You don't need to work in there. That's the focus of the wealth. Assets don't tend to pay taxes. Assets don't tend to pay taxes. Who are those who own assets? Wealthy people. They don't tend to pay taxes. So our focus when we start is how do I calculate assets? And the American system gives you access to assets using other people's money. So that is your key. That is your focus. On this side, the next one is operations. This is us. We are here. You only get money because you sign in and sign out. Yes, you only make a dime. The day you're sick, you have nothing. You have nothing. That's where we find ourselves. Now, here, the big thing here is called operating activity income. Ordinary activity income. You have to work your backside off to get the money. Now, we know how to do this because when we come here, most of us go to the best things. Most of us do those best things, and then we come out and start making money. The first thing you get here, this is the side that pays all the taxes of the United States. Activity. Your ordinary activity income, when you make money, you're in the 37% tax bracket. That means that you're paying almost 37% of your income on the side. In the form of federal income taxes. We're lucky to be in Texas. We don't have state taxes. But if you were in California, I was in California 2 weeks ago. Those guys in California, you know what their bills are? They're in that state tax. Most of the guys I was speaking to, 11 to 13.3%. So if you add 13.3% to 37%, you're paying more than half of your income in just income tax. We're not talking about sales tax, property tax, all the other taxes. You're basically working for the system. It's called slavery. You know, America historically, America was done by slaves. When slave trade ended, do you think the process ended? They had to find another way to make you have a white collar and look the same. So they get DV, they're happy to run here. First time they were catching us to bring us here, we're crying. Now they're happy to run here, they want to come here. So we get here, and then we have all the student loan. We go and get all those things, we go to the best school, which is great, I like that. But when you do that, you have to know how to do the next step. We do all of that, we stop there. So basically, this guy, so what I'm saying, if you think about all the taxes that you pay as a high income earner in America, you're paying about 60% of your income taxes. Federal income tax, I mean, maybe in Texas a little bit less because you don't have state taxes, but in other states, Minnesota, 11% state taxes. New York, 11%, almost 12% state taxes. And then you have county taxes, city taxes, property taxes, sales taxes, everything you buy has a tax. It's slavery. So here, most of us, the first thing is W2. Hold on. This is W2. Most of us are here, which is great. Which is great. Here, before they tell you that you have, that your income is $240,000. When they say $240,000 a year, it means that when you go to the bank, you should be taking $20,000 a year. But go to that bank and tell me how much you get. You get about $11,000, $12,000. Because Uncle Sam has taken his own share before you even see it. That's what it was. That's what happens here. And when you ask, they tell you, hey, you have a 401k. 401k is great. Many of us come here for those who are even contributing, because many people don't even contribute to 401k. Many, they leave, they're waiting for Social Security. You know what Social Security pays? Social Security for the best people is $32,000 for married filing job. That's the most Social Security pay. $32,000. Can you live on $22,000 a year? For those of us who have been used to paying that money, that's why we die early. So basically, this guy here, you put that money to, you're putting that money in a bank. Maybe most of us have this in Vanguard, in Joshua, in Fidelity, in Principal. We have all of them. But the point is that the guy who is managing your money every year is making $70 million. Those are the executive pay. But you are getting 1% increase. By the time the market was so bad, we lost 3%. This is that is making how, and you're expecting that. That's for those who even contribute. But the tax code tells you that you can self-direct this money. For those of you who are sitting on maybe $200,000, $300,000 in your 401k, you can self-direct your 401k and leverage other people's money, acquire assets for 10 times that price. That is called wealth. We don't know how to do it. Nobody tells us how to do it. There's no school that can teach you how to do it. It's called self-directing your 401k. That's what the tax code does. Remember, the tax code is a wealth building machine. You just need to know how to use it. We don't know how to use it. And we don't even leverage those who don't know how to use it. To prepare taxes, you see somebody who's making $500,000 to prepare his taxes. He wants that guy who's going to be for $200. So you're doing with someone who learned how to do taxes. How many years did it take? Maybe 1 week. He only knows how to put the numbers in. And then when you look at the numbers, he looks like the number is not good. Put something that he doesn't even understand. And then at the end, it shows you that, hey, you are getting a refund. That has killed all your ability to work. Are we making sense? I don't want to take all of your time. Is it making sense? So, thank you. So, I want to go faster. So, basically, you can convert that into wealth. That is your money. You have access to it. You can self-direct it. And then if it was 200,000, you can put it with down payment for a $2 million property. And that property is going to be paid by who? Because you took a loan for 1 point something. That property will be paid by the middle class while you need the property. And you're getting another source of income. You're building your wealth. The capital market is there to support you. And then you're using that property to avoid paying taxes altogether. And I'll show you how it works. Now, another thing, the next step. Most people, they get hired here. I see physicians, they say, oh, I want to go on, they call it locum. I want to go locum. Locum means you get a 1099. Because that W2, they are taking all my money there. I get a 1099. When you come here, it's great because here you didn't have any control. Here, you have some control. You are able to write off your scrap, write off your travel, write off certain things. Because now 1099 is a business. It is a business. There are very few things you can do here to avoid taxes. Because again, your wealth is in the taxes you pay. Your wealth is in the taxes you pay. You are only paying taxes because you're being penalized for not building America. It's a penalty. And most people are building America. They are not just structured to show that they are building America. Because they are working with the wrong. Now, another thing here. So when you're here, the thing is, when here you're considered self-employed. This self-employment means that any profit that you make here, the government has added another tax here, which is called self-employment tax. 15.3% of whatever profit you make here. That's why most companies, they start in our communities within 3 years, even when you are available. Because there's what you call self-employment tax that's added to you that you know about. It's in addition to your normal tax. So how do you do that? When you are here, you start making money here. I see a lot of people come to me and say, John, I want to start a business. I say, great. Can you help me structure LLC? I say, go make the money first. In America, you start a business and then you structure it. Start making money. When you create LLCs, that's not making anything. You're moving. It's nothing. The company doesn't exist unless there's a buyer and a seller. The LLC itself doesn't mean anything. It's just adding compliance to you. Very soon they're sending you letters that you cannot tell this street. But the LLC was not making anybody anything. So why do you create it? Unless you're in a specific activity where they require that before you start. Why do you need that? When you start doing it, start making money, then now you can say, hey, I'm making money. Let me go and structure it. Then now we can structure it in the best way possible. So when you're here, you start making money, I want you to put in an LLC. Why do I put in an LLC? Because it gives you some limitation of liability. Because here, it's considered you. If you have a problem here, it takes everything you have. So you put in an LLC so that it gives you inside limitation of liability. Then after that, if you make more than 50,000, I want it to be an escort. Most people don't understand why they do escort, why they do LLC, because my brother told me, my sister told me that that's the one that works. What did she tell me that it does? I told you. Are we making sense? This is what makes the wealthy. I'm going to show you something. So the reason you get an escort is because here you have self-employment tax of 15.3%. Here, you're telling the government a corporation is a separate legal entity. You're telling the government that, hey, I'm no longer self-employed. I work for a corporation now. Except that corporation is mine. So that self-employment tax disappears. Because now you're paying a certain salary which is called a reasonable salary to yourself. Now, I see a lot of people, listen, I see a lot of people who have partnerships. Great. Partnerships is great. It's going to help you be able to do things. It brings a lot of money. Great thing. So what I'm saying is that these are the structures for operating activity. This is a structure where you are actively working not passive. It's honoring. And here, all these things are going to make you a lot in America as long as you do it right. But the key, even the W-2, I didn't say W-2 is bad. All of them will make you a lot of money. But the problem is how do you structure them? Now, all these things, they don't belong to you. They belong to the trust. The next thing. They don't belong to you, they belong to the trust. So you own the trust. The trust owns every activity you do. Now, on this side, the next one, you create a holding company. You've heard about holding company. We've all heard about holding companies. Why do people create holding companies? And where do you create a holding company? Matters. That is the key. Texas is not good for holding companies at all. So you create this in one of those states that have the strongest asset protection laws. Your holding company is that company that owns all your assets and protects the assets. The states that have some, the ones that we use, you have states like Delaware, Wyoming, Nevada, South Dakota, Alaska. Some of those states, it's a few more, but those are the ones we use most of. These ones, it gives you strong asset protection, meaning that if someone was to sue you, they don't have access to anything that is in there. That's why you get a holding company. And in that holding company, you own all your real estates. Those real estate that have 20 LLCs that are holding those real estate. But they are all owned by the holding company. They hold all your investment in cryptos, your investment in stocks, your lands, your farms, all other LLCs that you have are owned by this person here, not by you. And then, this is not owned by you, it's owned by the trust. Remember I said the trust owns everything. Even your home, your private home, is not owned by you, it's owned by the trust. Now, don't be fooled. Now, the type of taxes you pay here are completely different from the taxes you pay here. Remember something, and this is very critical. In America, everybody who's in Washington, whether it's Donald Trump, the President of the United States, whether it's the senators, whether the Congress people, they are all sent there by some top person, by some wealthy dude who's sponsoring their campaign. All. Whether you're Democrat, they say, oh, it's all $10 that are coming from. There's still one person, the superstar, who's the major donor. We call them the super PACs. Those are the people who are sending you to Washington. When they send you to Washington, you go, you want to stay in Washington. It's comfortable, you have these nice hotels, you have all these great things. Who do you work for? Do you work for all of us? Or you work for that guy? They are working all for that guy. So whenever you complain, you say, oh, this has gone, that is. Nobody cares. So instead of complaining, do what you want. Because everybody, Donald Trump is working for Elon Musk. Elon Musk has people in there. So when he gives excess things to Elon Musk, people are there, it's noise. Elon Musk has power. He was spending $1 million every day to picture that guy. Every day. So when he goes there, he starts thinking about Charles Njoya. Who's Charles? I don't care about Charles Njoya. This country is called capitalists. Capitalism means that greed is the meaning of capitalism. Capitalism is greedy. If you don't like it, go to Russia. Or you go to China. Those are communist countries where the government makes the money and then they distribute to everybody. In America, it is the government makes the laws. You guys play the game. If you don't know how to play the game, you get screwed. There are only two people in America. The capitalists and the middle class. The middle class is continuously being screwed. Do you want to be the guy who gets screwed? I don't know. So learn how the system works. Instead of complaining, understand the game. If you don't like like it again? Russia. Now, the other thing here, these guys here, the wealthy people own all these things. Guess what they pay? The tax, the income you generate from here, not this one here. The income you generate from here is called rental income, interest income. It's called dividend income. It's called capital gains income. And most of the things here come from capital gains dividends. Those things, the tax rate are the smallest tax rates. Because they know that it is that my Uga who sent me here, who sent me here. So you make sure he's taken care of. The tax code, Donald Trump is going to change the tax code again to bring it even lower so that the boys are happy. So we have to play the game. So basically, these things, they pay the lowest amount of tax. These guys here, which is all the other people, they pay all the taxes. So now, while you're here, most people here, the maximum you pay for capital gains, you pay either 0, 15, or 20%. Here was 50%. Now, the other thing you get is that most of these people, most of the middle class, most of these capitalists, they have flying private jets. They are flying, they have all these exotic cars, they have crazy homes. You think they're the ones paying for those? They have something called a family management company. A family management company allows you to convert personal expenses into business expenses and push them to the middle class. So your travel, that jet you bought, somebody's buying it because I'm going to depreciate it. I'm going to completely depreciate it, and then now I take all the tax benefits out of it. And then every time I use it, it's an expense, and I send you taxes. I'm pushing all my expenses to taxes because I am structured that way. They work with the right people to make sure it is done that way. Now, so this guy, go back. So our goal, the goal of the wealthy, when you have this, the children who are going to have at all those schools, they are being paid by you through the family management company. They are hiring all their kids, even if they're not doing anything. They are not hired in the business. They are doing all sorts of things through the family. When they travel, the tax code doesn't say you must have your board meeting in Houston. You can have your board meeting in Bali. You can have your board meeting on a cruise. You can have your board meeting anywhere. That means that when I want to go to visit my family in Istanbul, it is a board meeting in my village. In my village. Yes. And it's a board meeting. Nobody cares where I do my board meeting. Not all my etiquettes, I'm carrying my children on pushing them to one side. So again, our goal is to do this. We want our next ministry. We want to continuously convert your ordinary income. The income you're making, you're pushing it into assets. Because assets are going to make you, you're pushing all that into the middle class. Play the game, you don't want to be middle class. Decide from today that I'm not middle class. I don't want that name, middle class. If I'm in America, I'm a capitalist. That's why I came here. You cannot come here in a capitalist state and you start complaining, oh, bills are high, this is. Play the game. Capitalism. I'm making this, I'm trying to make it fun, but I'm telling you the truth. Whether you like it, you don't like it. That's the way it is. If you don't like it, go. Why are you here? So our goal is to move these things on this way so that you're creating assets. And those assets, you are structured, because most of us, there are people here who have about 10 real estate, 20 real estate, but they're still paying 50, they're still paying 200, 400, $500,000 in taxes. Because they are working with some guy who is in the cartel, who doesn't understand anything. You've outgrown your CPA. And I'm telling you the truth, CPAs don't have a clue about this. They don't have a clue about this. Now our goal, the next thing, we have, when you work with, you have over 300 different strategies. Strategies that you use to prepare the taxes, to basically structure these people. They work with what they call family offices. What's a family? I'll show you a family office. So basically, you have 300 strategies in our platform, in my company, this company. In my company, you have about 300 different strategies. Like before you get here, you're paying zero in taxes because of this structure. This is the structure for the wealthy. Now, is this answering your question?
You're well on your way.
So, this is the game of the wealthy. How many of us have this structure? How many of us know this structure? They don't teach it in any school. They don't teach it. They don't teach it. Now, go to the next. I want to show you the structure of our company. It is your right to avoid taxes. It is your right. The tax code doesn't say you must pay taxes. If somebody tells you that, it's a lie. The tax code says you must file a tax return. And then you pay the minimum legal tax obligation. You don't want to pay anything more than minimum. The tax code wants you to pay your pension, pay just your normal. And for that minimum for the withdraw is zero. Why is it that yours is 200,000? Why is it that yours is 500,000 or 10,000? Because there's something you're not doing right. Now, go ahead, just move on. CPAs are not strategies. Go, just go. I want to show you something. So this is, we can talk about this all day now, but I want to show you the structure that will help you with this. Go down. So look at this. This thing is just telling you that these are the people that are going to make you wealthy. These are the people. Let me show you before you get there. So here, this is the way we are structured, our firm, CHN Advisors. This is the way we're structured. We have tax strategists. The people who structure show you structure your own trifecta. They call that thing I showed you, they call it the trifecta. Some people call it the T structure. So you have tax strategists because your wealth is inside the tax code. Your wealth is inside the tax code. We have been made to understand that the tax code is there to make us pay taxes. The tax code is actually there to make us build America. And you build America by building yourself. And once you build yourself, America doesn't tax you. America is taxing you because you're not building. So basically, you need attorneys, you need come on, you need strategists, you need attorneys. That structure I showed you, most of it is going to be done by an attorney. Most of it. I can draw it for all I want. I'm not an attorney. So in our firm, we have attorneys who do that. They're structuring. These are estate planners. They're going to do your trust. They're going to do all of those things for you. You need financial planners on the insurance side. Many of us, when we hear about insurance, it's as if, oh, those people, they are coming to take money. Insurance is, if you don't have insurance, you're in trouble. In this country. And insurance is not about any type of insurance. You're getting insurance that has living benefits that allow you to get cash value inside. Because term policies are policies that are going to disappear. But you may have them for some reasons. But you must have a cash value. Talk to financial planners on the insurance side. Because that's also a wealth building bucket. You want to talk to financial planners on the retirement side. Why? Because all of us are going to retire. We want to start planning. I tell my clients, when you come to me, the first thing I ask you, where do you want to be in 10 years? When are you retiring? Because we are going to structure you. Take all the money you're giving to Uncle Sam and help you build your own wealth. That is the game of the wealth. So you have financial planner on the retirement side. You have the financial planner on the investment side. This guy who's taking you to the stock market. Stock market has made most of those wealthy people are in the stock market. You cannot ignore the stock market. The problem with us is that we don't think big. We think too low. The same effort that takes you to sell a Toyota is the same effort that will take you to sell a Rolls Royce. Why would you sell a Toyota and not sell a Rolls Royce? Am I making sense? So I'd rather sell the Toyota, sell a Rolls Royce, than sell a Toyota. That's just a figure of speech. It's not talking about Toyota and Rolls Royce. We sell. But I'm saying that when we come to this country, we have to look at that guy who is owning that thing. I want to be like that guy. The problem is that when we come here, the other person who has not succeeded in anything is the one who's teaching you how to do everything. He's the one who's teaching you how to do so well. So you're looking at him, why are you like that? So you end up being like him. That's the truth. That's our truth. We don't do the things that we're supposed to do to get out of our own, what do you call it? Some crazy cycle. That's why we're all on the same stage. We see some crazy stuff there for other people, it's not for us. So here, you need accountants to structure everything you do. You need tax preparers. These are all the CPAs that are there to help us do all the work. They're here too. And then you need what? Loan officer. Why? Because you build wealth by leveraging other people's money. People who stay, they say, oh, I don't want, je ne veux pas, je veux mettre l'argent là dans ton team, je ne veux pas. I don't want any money. If you don't make loans, you will not go anywhere. You don't have enough money to do anything significant. You don't have. The biggest problem we have, if you ask any entrepreneur anywhere in the world, you ask them, what is your biggest problem? They will tell you access to capital. It's access to capital. And then now, you have the blessing to be where there's capital. You abandon it. You say, no, je parle à ton team. So you want loan officers, real estate. Real estate. If you don't know the power of real estate, you're lost. This is where the money is stored. It's called real. In the stock market, money disappears because it's virtual money. Real estate, the value goes down, the property is there, you touch it. You know it's there. After 5 years, it's back, it's booming. The real estate market for the last 50 years has been like this. The stock market has been like this. The problem is, how do we play in the stock market? You have to know how to play. We invest for the short term. You want to invest for the long term. And then you need this guy. You need all these guys. This is what we call, it's a one-stop shop for wealth building needs. You come here, you do everything there. It's going to help you even if your business is not working. There are ways within this team to tell you what to do. One of our biggest things for people who are starting is marketing. Most of us don't know how to market our products. So this is the thing. They call it the family office. That's what the wealthy call the family office. Donald Trump has his family office. Elon Musk has his family office, which works for them. Now we've created this for our own communities. We too can have our own family office. Thank you guys. That was
I'm sure there are a lot of questions. Who has any questions?
So let me just say yes, you find some question.
I appreciate that.
Yes. I have more comments than I have questions, but I wanted to thank Mr. Njoya for this very enlightening lecture. This is probably the most, I said I had more comments than I had questions, really, but to me this is one of the most enlightening lectures that I've ever had a chance to listen to. I've been in the States for 20 years, and I gotta tell you, I went to school, did all the things, but I've never attended a lecture where that could definitely be a difference maker in my life. I've been in the on the left part of your screen, right? W2, 1099, endless, loop, and I've been stuck there. I don't know, and I didn't know how to get out of that loop. And you provided me with the playbook to eventually, if I do the things right, and eventually if I come to you at some point, we will be able to put on the stretcher to be able to do just what you just described today. I wanted you to expand a little bit more on two things. One is you mentioned the possibility of self-direction of that money on the 401k. I wanted you to expand a little more on that, on how to go about doing that, if you can, if it's not something that's going to take too much time. And then I wanted also you to expand a little more on the difference between revocable living trust and irrevocable living trust. I'm not sure that I got that difference. I think we have that product. I'm not sure which one we do have right now. So I just wanted you to expand a little more on that. Thank you so much.
Great question. So, and he wants to know a little bit about how do you serve direct forward. So, the 401k, the tax code, again, that 401k is the code in the tax code. 401k is your money. Once it's vested, you have access to it. It is your money. And because you have that money, which is seated there, the tax code says you don't have access to that money until the age of 59 and a half. That's what the tax code says. That you only have access to it at the age of 59 and a half. However, when you put your money in Fidelity, it is because you have decided that Fidelity will help you invest in that money. You don't have access to the money, don't mean you cannot control how the money is spent. Your employer will not tell you. Some employers will even stop you from self-directing your money. They will even tell you because they have deals with the employer. But what do? The tax code says that, and especially if you have 401ks that's from a previous employer, all that money, all you need to do, because whenever you move your money, self-directing is not withdrawing. You're not withdrawing your money. And some of those entities that hold your 401k, you can tell them that you want to self-direct it. They don't want you to do that. Why? Because when you self-direct, you're going to take the money. Whereas the money is there, they are the ones investing in and making money for themselves. So self-directing simply means there are companies out there that do a lot of self-directing. If you want, we can talk about it. Companies that do self-directing. And then now, when you self-direct that money, now you have money for investment. You have $200,000 sitting there. That $200,000 is 10% down for maybe 20% down for $1 million property. That $1 million property, you buy that property. And then now, instead of investing, because once that money is there, it is invested in three things. Once you sell it to Fidelity, Charles Schwab, they're investing in three things. They're investing in stocks, they're investing in mutual funds, they're investing in ETFs. Those are the three products. Now, when you self-direct, you can basically decide that I want to invest that money in an oil and gas fund. Because the only purpose of 401k is that you've kept that money. The government wants you to use that money only when you retire. So now you can say that I want to self-direct it and invest it in any other bucket of my choice. And then when you take that money, go to the capital market, you tell them, hey, I got $200,000. I want to buy that property which is $4 million, which is $2 million. They say, can you give 10%? You say yes. That money becomes a 10%. And then now you buy a property like this. And then that money, that property, it's not called property, it's called your 401k. Yes. Because you cannot take any benefit from that property before you are 59 and a half. That's important. So that's property becomes your 401k. So you just multiply your money by how many things. And then who's paying for it? So the interest, now that properties, there are 4 things you get from investing in real estate. 4 returns of investment. Number 1, there's That's return on investment. Number two, there's asset appreciation, return on investment. Number three, there's mortgage reduction, return on investment. Number four, you get cash flow from that asset. So you've just multiplied that asset, that money that's seated there, by 10. That answers your number one question. The second question was this one. Revocable living trust and irrevocable. I mean, there's so much to talk about trust. Nigerians can speak about trust better than I do, but I know how they work. I structure them for clients, and let me tell you about the trust. The foundational trust that you need is irrevocable living trust. That's the foundational trust. Somebody can tell me, maybe I can have a property like this, and I decide to put it inside an irrevocable trust. The irrevocable trust, when you set it up and you put anything like all the prescriptions that are there, you cannot, once it's set up, people correct me if I'm wrong, it's done. You cannot change nothing. Maybe you were with your spouse, you don't like her anymore, you don't like him anymore, you cannot touch it. You cannot touch it. You have more children, you want to stop. You cannot touch it. So that is meant for one thing only. It's called asset protection. It has strong asset protection because nobody can put capital. That's an irrevocable trust. And when you have an irrevocable trust, that trust can belong to the irrevocable trust. Because it's an asset. So the one that we need is this one that you can modify. Everything is inside. Everything. Your bank accounts, everything is inside. All those things. We can talk about trust for a long time, but those are the nuances and those are the things I want to talk about. Yes.
Let me make sure I understand you correctly. Because when you say 401k is self-directed, that's news to me.
Yeah.
I do know a 401k rollover, which becomes an IRA, which you can self-direct into anything like real estate or whatnot. I did not know that you can actually do that before.
401k.
Because companies often give
They don't tell you.
a bucket of asset that you they at least give you the impression you are limited, you're confined to those assets. You can't go outside those assets.
Because they have a deal with their companies and they want the companies to manage it. So when you self-directed, you're taking away from that and they don't want it to happen. Yes.
Okay, thank you again, Mr. Njoya.
Yes.
I'm always impressed every time you speak. It's my second time to hear from you. I'm very impressed again. I just have one question about your last slide. Can you go back to that slide? All in one, on one-stop shop. Okay. No, not that slide. The last one.
The family practice.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay. When I look at slides, I always look at everything. The first one on the top left says energy expert. What does that mean?
Okay, great question. You know something? There's something in this country, in this world today that is called, we talk about, how do I call it? Sorry? No, yeah, global warming is part of it. But you talk about things that are, we call them, I have a name for it. But you want to think about two things that are going to basically stop the world. There are two things that are going to stop the world if you basically don't embrace them today. Number one is IT. If you don't embrace IT, everything in the world is about IT. It means that if the systems today were stopped, people will die in all hospitals. We will all disappear because we don't have any information. Everything IT you have to follow this. That's number one. It is called, I have a name that we call it. But then the second one is renewable energies. Renewable energies. You know, the world has been in at wars. The Middle East has been at wars. Libya is at war. Everybody in America wants to fight everywhere there's oil. You know why? Because America uses oil more than anybody. America uses oil more than anybody. And oil that we're fighting for is a depletable resource. Meaning that it's going to get finished. So no matter how you fight, maybe in 1,000 years we'll still disappear. So that's why they decided that, hey, we have to go renewable. So the world will continue only if you don't depend on resources. Right? So, the world, America and many other countries went very heavy into it, and they will compensate you for using renewable resources even on your home, because they want to move us away more and more towards renewable energy, electric cars, using high, using good. So there is somebody here. Do you know that if you structure your solar panel, or if you structured your, something like solar panel, correct structure, people just go and buy solar panel. Government will give you 30%. Those who are you go and buy an electric car, the government gives you tax credit. Yes. So if you structure it that way, where it becomes a business, and this thing that's what the experts do. The experts are helping you with anything that has to do with renewable sources or other credits that exist in the market for all the things that you do that have to play. Yes. Yes. Because anything that has to do with what there are some that are not here, I would say. But the ones, these are the basic ones that most. If you're having an assessment meeting. So, does that answer your question? Yes. Yeah. So I want to thank you. I appreciate all of this. I want to appreciate Ceren.
Thank you, Mr. Njoya.
People have to listen.
Please, your attention, please. One last question, please.
Thank you once again, Mr. Njoya. You know, it's always a pleasure to listen to you. And I can tell to other people that from the first presentation, we are working now with Mr. Njoya, and we are very happy. So my question is about from the NLC to the ESCOP and the 1065. You told us that you recommend to go from the NLC to the ESCOP because to the ESCOP we can have a little salary.
Yes.
My question is, having a little salary, will we still have the W2
Yes.
and the taxes?
Yes.
How will it be?
You get this escort is now a corporation. You manage it as if you were managing any company, and you are an employee of here. So this company is paying you a W2, and then you're paying taxes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. You're welcome.
Mr. Njoya, there's a question here also. He's a student from UT Austin.
I like to get questions from students.
Mr. Njoya, thank you for taking the time to come here to speak to us. I'm a student right now, so I'm a ways off from even being on the left side of this chart, much less the right side. And I wanted to ask, as a student right now, what sorts of early steps can I be taking to set myself up for the most efficient path to success in the future?
Excellent question. Excellent question. I don't know, did you come here on your own, or did you come with your parents, or how?
I'm here with
Perfect. So this is an important. This is where it starts for us. Our story has to change for those people. Our kids are the ones that are going to change our story in a fundamental way. If we start bringing them to events like this, to come and learn, to come and see, because he can spend 20 years in school, he will never know this. Never. So that question is a great question, and the first thing you have to do is that just now knowing that there's a system like this that you can implement is the first step. And the other thing I'm going to tell you is that I told you about steps to wealth building. There were 3 steps I told you about steps to wealth building. Number 1 is income generation. Going to school. Most people, if you come to America, most people will tell you that go and do what you like. I tell my children, you don't do what you like. Because doing what you like means that you are doing what you're comfortable with. And everything that is comfortable for people, give them nothing. If you ask a child, what do you want to do? He will tell you, I want to sleep. So most children would look for those courses that are easy for them. That's what I want to do. But is that going to give you what you want? The first thing you want to ask yourself is, what do I want to achieve in life? What is my goal? When you start asking those type of questions to children, they'll start telling you, oh, I want to buy that super thing. I want to be that person who helps people in the village. I want to help us do this. I want to do that. Now you start talking about fulfillment. What fulfills you? You're talking to me, right? You're talking. He's talking about what fulfills you. When you determine what fulfills you, because generally children talk about fulfillment without knowing how to get to that fulfillment. They feel that, okay, I want to be like this guy who is flying planes or who is doing this, who is doing that. Let him tell you all what he wants to do. Not what he wants to do. Then now that he's told you what he wants to do, you tell him, okay, to do that, you need to have this. You need to have that. You need to be like this guy who is doing it. This guy is a millionaire. He has so much money, that's why he can do that. Now, you find the ways to get there. And how do you find the ways to get there? By doing those things that ordinary people don't do. Ordinary people do a lot of things that are easy, and that's why they are ordinary. That's me, that's my philosophy. And most people in this country, these people who have been in this country for long, they will tell you that do what you love. Oh, let the child do what he loves. In my children, if you tell them to do what they love, they will come out nothing. Because what they love doesn't take away. That's why we're parents, right? We're parents who tell them that, hey, if you want to do this, then you have to be that pediatrician, you have to be this guy, you have to be this guy who does this for IT, and that thing takes geometry. Do you know geometry? It takes calculus. Are you good in the calculus? Just go, I don't like it. If you want to get those things, you have to do calculus. Then you start learning calculus. To get to where you want to go, it takes you getting out of your comfort zone. It takes you getting out of your comfort zone. It takes you learning those things. First of all, you have to determine, where do I want to be in my life? Some people say, I want to be like Elon Musk. Fine. I want to be like Elon Musk. Great. Or I want to be like this. I'm just saying, any type of person you want to be, then you start looking at, how do I get there? Generally, getting there is a tough path. It's tough. But you have to learn how to get to that tough path. And it starts with children at that age, doing what they have to do. So the first thing for me, I'll tell you, is to identify, what do you want to get? Because you saw it today, you want to be here. You want to be here. The first thing you want to look for is, what am I doing? Can I get to that place where I get the right income? How do I get that income? How do I start by making over $300,000, $500,000 in income? What do I need to do? It always starts here. You're going to make some money, maybe W2, or maybe own a business, start this. But when you start a business, when you start making that money, it is all about not just acquiring liabilities. It It is first of all trying to work with the right people. Leverage is key. We don't know how to leverage. Leverage is key. We don't know how to leverage. The most important thing in America is knowledge. Knowledge. We know how to buy a property. We go and buy real estate, buy a car because we can touch it. We know how to buy tangible assets. We don't know how to pay for intangible assets. In America, if you want to win, the key is paying for intangible assets. Information changes your life. Assets are not taking you anywhere. In terms of beginning, you have to learn these type of things. When you learn something like this, and you work with the people who are doing this, we can accelerate your world building by 10. Because you're working with a group of people that are focused towards one. So the first thing is you have to know that you have to leverage. You have to work with the best people. Never think about cost being your number one element for building wealth. It should be value. Value has a price. Value always has a price. If you buy something for $10, it gives you the value for $10. In a market like America, capitalism means that there is a knowledgeable buyer and a knowledgeable seller. That's the meaning of capitalism. The stock market has knowledge. Everybody knows exactly what is there. So you want to get that knowledge so that you know. And for me, it's important. So if you want to work, if you leverage and work with the right people, the reason the wealthy have family offices is because they know they don't know nothing. So they tell you, I'm going to pay you to make me wealthy. That's what you have to do for me. I don't want to pay taxes, number one. So you do whatever you have to do to make me not pay taxes legally. And in this country, when we talk about family office, we don't even know them. Because they belong to who? The few family offices in America, they belong to Jews, they belong to some of these white guys, and that's it. So we too have to build our family offices, and that's why we're here. So I'll tell you it's about leverage. I can talk about that as much as I want, but the key is for you to attend conferences like this. Learning, intangible, knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you. I think there was another question. Yeah. One last question.
Hi, Mr. Njoya. Thank you so much for your presentation. I have a question regarding the repurposing of the 401k to the real estate. So, when you repurpose the 401k to a real estate, what would be the tax impact?
Great question. Remember that your 401k, when you repurpose, it's basically what you just did is a rollover. It's a rollover. You've not taken the money out. That money, when you say I'm going to go from Fidelity into I want to basically self-directed. There's large companies that are doing self-directing. So you're telling Fidelity, do you guys do self-directing? If they tell you no, you say, okay, I want to put it to self-directed area or into any of these companies. Then now it's basically rolling that money from that place to the other place. You're not taking it out. So there's no tax implication. There's zero tax implication. But if you want to roll that money, you take a little bit out of it, there's a tax implication. You cannot use the money. And even if you remove the money and you hold it, there's a certain amount of time that you cannot go and pass it because it becomes withdrawal. So basically, you just want to roll it over into self-directed. And when it's self-directed, remember, when it's there, it's not gaining any interest. You're going to be paying fees. So you don't want to self-directed when you're not ready. You look for the property, do everything, do your how do they call it? You do your pre-approval, everything, and then when it's ready, you're ready for that. You can now self-direct into that and then use that money for that. Because the money doesn't stay there. It doesn't stay in that company. It's going to buyers. Listen. Yeah. I want to thank you.
All right, any more questions? Thank you, Mr. Njoya. Give it up for Mr. Njoya. Thank you very much. Okay, so this closes our workshop number 2. I want to invite our CEO to say some closing remarks. And we want to thank everyone for coming here today. There are some refreshment in the back if you want to drink something.
Thank you again. Thank you for staying to the end. And can we give a round of applause to our speakers? I know two of them left already. So it was
Exciting.
this was a challenge for us. You know, we did all what we could do to bring enough people, as Mr. Njoya was saying. We decided to organize a party here, the hall will be full. So we're counting on you guys to go out there and spread the word. Let people know that Ceren is serious about what he's doing. Okay? So until then, keep learning, keep growing, keep empowering one another. Thank you.
So I cannot say anything after the CEO. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend.